On YouTube, they always say to do videos about what you know and things that you do well. And I'm going to have a very vulnerable moment here. I will always talk about friendship, even though I practically have no friends. I honestly, truly see so much value in friendship. And I believe that true and real friendships still do exist. The thing that triggered me to do this video today is this video right here that I found on TikTok that I really wanted to share with you.
This is Ronnie. She was my maid of honor in my wedding. I was. Happy birthday to you.
That video was so beautiful. I can't relate to that. I can't because I didn't have bridesmaids because I didn't have like the official big grand wedding. The people who would have been my bridesmaids then are no longer my friends now. So if I was to do that trend, it wouldn't have turned out so beautifully. But this video makes me so happy because I genuinely believe that people can still find and maintain good friendships. This isn't a religious channel at all by any means, but one of the reasons why I value friendship so much is because friendship is talked about in the Bible, and having good friends is something that is commendable in the Bible. In this world that we live in now, a lot of times people tell you that friends aren't good, having friends isn't good. It's almost encouraged to be a lone wolf. And a part of me can understand why, because there are a lot of deceptive people out there. I think there's an attack on friendships for a reason. Getting religious again, the devil hates everything that goodness loves or God loves. But I'm not going to act like this is something that's not real. The friendships really are failing. They are failing for us in this generation. People who I know from generations past, they have friendships that they still maintain to this day. I have been trying really hard to be a lot more introspective, to see where I go wrong a lot. And because of this, I kind of realized some of the things that cause me and I think a lot of us in this generation to be friendless or to not be able to maintain our friendships. The truth is that it really takes a lot of work for friendships to last. It takes a lot of work to maintain marriages and other relationships, and friendship is no different. It takes work just the same. And a lot of people aren't really willing to put in the work. I think because a lot of people see friendships as like a blase kind of relationship, and they don't think it should take work to maintain it. We think it should be easy. And so the moment a little hardship comes around, like people are ready to dip. I can tell you right off the bat that I think one of the reasons I think I don't have friends is because I'm not good at communication, and it might sound weird because I'm trying to do this whole YouTube thing, and it has everything to do with communication, but truly I'm not good at it at all. It's so counterproductive when we enter situations, and as things do, because we're human beings, nobody's perfect. Your friend is not perfect, and neither are you. If a friendship is real, there will be conflicts. The only way I think that friendships don't have conflict is if one person is just a kiss ass and they're just willing to go along with everything that the other person is saying. They don't have a mind of their own. If you're not willing to identify a problem and talk it through and solve it together, like there's no way. There's no way that the friendship is going to last. I've seen a lot of situations that could have easily been talked out, worked out, if people were willing to actually have a conversation. The conflict resolution skills, I mean, we used to learn that in school, but it seems like it went because we're not doing the conflict resolution. We're cutting people off like instantly. It's almost like you can have a friend for years and not value them and them not value you. Not almost, that's really the case. Like you can be friends and not really value each other, because if you really valued each other, there's nothing that could prevent you from doing what it takes to ensure that you always have that person in your life. I think a lot of our conversation these days is very surface level, happy, joy, enjoyment. We don't have deep conversations. We don't share things with others, or we don't share because we fear that people will use our information against us, as we see happen all the time. It's a valid reason. We have valid reasons to kind of be closed off. But if the aim is to really have a true and long friendship, it's not going to happen if we don't talk to each other for real. I don't want to make it all about me, but one of the things I noticed about the friendships that I did have is that I never shared anything about myself. And my reasoning was that I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I went through so much on my own, even when I had friends. Even when I had friends, I never talked about anything. I mean, I had friends who did talk, and I tried as best as possible to be there for them. I think there was a lack of communication with me because I never really thought that anyone would care about my story, so I never shared it. But sometimes things like that, I think it's needed for us to be able to connect on a different level. Another thing that I think influences the fact that we are so friendless, or we have such a hard time maintaining our friendships, is because a lot of us are self-serving. We love to receive, and we don't even realize that we also need to be pouring back into the other person. We live in a world that has taught us to be selfish. Eventually, if the other person is one that shares, they will get exhausted. It will feel one sided. And I think it also goes back to communication as well, because as friends, we should communicate enough to know what our friends' love languages are. Like, what would they value receiving from you? How can you show up for your friend? We live in a world that has taught us to be self serving, that has taught us to always look out for ourselves, and mainly ourselves, I think, as a survival technique. And it's valid in some situations. It is valid. Like, I understand why we would want to do that, but at the end of the day, it, it's also not serving us, because we're losing out on valuable relationships because of it. I'm an introvert, and a part of me, although I want friendship, I am okay in this season of my life being by myself. And I think that this season is to prepare me for this season to come. Another thing is that we don't often vet the friends that we originally have. The same type of effort that we put into, or that we should put into, like romantic interests. I think we should put that in our friendships as well, because I think it's just as important. Friendships sometimes last longer than the relationships. The foundation of our friendships should be strong. You shouldn't have friends because you both don't like the same person. Like, it has to be a full circle thing where we are in alignment with each other. Like, we need to actually accept people for who they are and not who we want them to be, and realize that when things are not in alignment with our lives. Yeah. So even though we want friends, this doesn't mean that we should just put ourselves out there and just allow everybody to just have access to us. We should really put thought into the people we allow into our lives. What do you think are reasons why this generation has not been able to maintain friendships? I would love to know your thoughts. I would also love to know like what recommendations, what can we do to change that? Like how can we improve? Because I think that should be the focal point of every conversation. If we're going to talk about something, I think we should also have solutions, have ways, have strategies to improve upon the things that we don't like. So if you do have any suggestions, if you do have any thoughts, I would truly love to hear them.